I remember Vasily Lomachenko had a harder than expected time with Miguel Mariaga. And he got lumped up a little bit, and people were talking about how he wasn't that good, meaning Lomachenko. And then the same thing happened to him recently when he fought Luke Campbell. Luke fought the fight of his life and went the distance. Again, Lomachenko was criticized, mainly by those who never heard of Luke Campbell, let alone seen him fight. Of course, people forget how fans reacted in those two instances. But let's move on. Wow. The man of the hour this month has got to be Teofimo Lopez. That knockout was sensational, right? But not so fast, my friends. This is the same Teofimo who one fight, some people thought he lost to Masayoshi Nakatani. People forget. You remember that? Oh, Teofimo ain't ready. He looked terrible. He's not ready for Loma. We go from that to, man, if he catches Lomachenko like he did Richard Comey, it's lights out. I can't wait to see that fight. He's a real challenge. He might catch Lomachenko. I can keep going on, but I'll stop there. I think you get my point. So let's look. Yuriorkis Gamboa is well past it. Actually, he's well past it. Should Davis have got him out of there early? Yes, he should have. Especially since Gamboa had a bad will, along with the fact that he's probably over 40 years old. Let's be honest. I don't know if Davis is I don't know if he's been 100% properly developed. The Pedraza he beat was extremely weight drained and had already said he was done at 130. He was off for 9 months with every intention of vacating and fighting at lightweight. But he was offered an incentive, which basically means more money. And he took the fight with Davis. But Pedraza wasn't the same slick guy as we've known him to be. But that's not Davis's fault. He got the job done. However, in fights with Francisco Fonseca and Gamboa, Davis didn't look like the guy people wanted him to look like. I understand that. I also understand it happens. When Mike Tyson was buzzsawing his way up, he ran into this brick wall named James Tillis. James Quick Tillis. And if you've never seen that fight, watch it again. And tell me Mike Tyson won it by better than a 6-4 score. So if one round would have went the other way, it would have been a draw. So he won by 2 points, or 1 round, 6-4. It was a 10-rounder. Tyson learned on the job. He learned on the job, and the only difference is he wasn't a champion. Today you have guys who are champions, but they're still learning on the job, still in the developmental stage. So what am I saying? Well, if Gervonta Davis fights a well-known guy in his next fight who isn't a shot fighter like Gamboa, and he blows the guy away, then guess what happens? Everybody's going to put him in that Teofimo Lopez position again. And nobody will remember Gamboa. Just like if I ask people, do they remember how Teofimo Lopez looked against the Nakatani, people are going to be like, who? When was that fight? Because his knockout, one fight later, against Comey was so explosive. And so, whatever terminology you want to use, knockouts cause amnesia, whatever. But now Teofimo's that guy. The same with Gervonta. I'm telling you, if he fights a decent name, a guy who is looked as a guy that'll push him and he steamrolls him, then it's like, watch how everybody switches and just totally forget about Gamboa. Listen, while Gamboa is well past it and older than they say he is, and he had a bad foot, he's also a Cuban gold medalist. A Cuban and a gold medalist. He's a veteran fighter. Has a good resume. I mean, he's a guy with crazy hand speed and power. And even though you didn't see the full power because he couldn't properly plant with his injured foot, take a look at Davis's face at the post-fight press conference. Not the one in the ring, but the actual press conference, not the post-fight interview. And you'll see the war markings were there on his face. In my next video, I'll put a little video clip of it and some pictures. So what are the people saying? People are saying Davis needs to get back into training and get better. Fair enough. I think he's there and just needs to change up the strategy a bit. So some years ago, a commentator was asked about Gary Russell Jr. while he was battling Vasily Lomachenko. So one of the commentators asked the other guy, he was like, well, what do you think? And the other commentator said, his response was, Gary has this blazing hand speed. But he keeps putting that hand speed on display for Lomachenko. The problem is Lomachenko knew how to handle the hand speed. So what do you do at that point? You got to switch it up. You got to throw some curveballs and mix them in there with those fastballs you're throwing. That's what you do. You change the game plan. Davis punches in combinations, but he loads up a lot. And every single punch has bad intentions on it. And sometimes you have to mix it up. Because I'm telling you, the guy who beats Davis is going to catch him in between one of those loaded up left hands he throws. Go back to Nonito Donaire versus my main man, Vic Darchinyan, their first fight. Now, Gervonta doesn't wind up his shots as much as Vic Darchinyan did, but he did it so that it was enough for Nonito, a world-class fighter, to catch him. And when he did, he iced him with this left hook. I mean, just watch it. Davis needs to work on his stamina, but he obviously didn't train the way he should have for this. All right, I get that. But a lot of that has to do with what you do in between fights and not just what you don't do in camp. So that's an adjustment. Listen, I've been critical of this kid when he was steamrolling guys. Now that he dealt with what he had to deal with on last Saturday, everybody's like, oh, he needs to stay away from this person. He needs to stay away from that person. Don't do this. Don't do that. And anybody I thought could beat him, I thought they could beat him before the fight. So what happened didn't really change my thought process about what's going on. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. So what did I like in this fight? I really like Davis's jab in this fight. It was a big weapon. His jab is a power shot. Also like that he tried a little later in the fight to go to the body. That served him well. In addition, I like that no matter what he had in front of him on Saturday, he was able to turn it up in the final round and get a knockout. That knockout sends a message to future opponents that I'm dangerous for all 12 rounds. Defensively, he had some lapses, but he also blocked some of Gamboa's punches throughout the fight with his gloves. And I was impressed that he saw, because Gamboa has fast hands. Weren't as fast as they usually are because of said injury, but Gervonta hasn't had to do that much in the past, but he did it on Saturday. So that was good for him. When Gamboa hit him with the three-piece, when he kind of was, I don't know if he was talking to somebody in the audience or what, but when Gamboa hit him, Davis took it. He took the punches. He wasn't staggered or hurt badly or anything like that. And I don't know how good this guy's chin is. Okay, I don't know how good this kid's chin is, but he's a mini Mike Tyson when it comes to the size of his neck. So that allows him to absorb blows. He has a thick neck. While a better, to me, I don't think there's a lot to change. With a better camp, he'll throw more punches, and he'll have to as the competition gets better. People will criticize Terrence Crawford if he fights Regis Prograis, Jose Carlos Ramirez, or Josh Taylor. They'll roast him because those guys are a class below him. But these guys are top shelf fighters and will give anybody they fight a hard night. Remember, Crawford moved up. So if you look at guys like the Charlos or Spence Jr. or Jarrett Hurd, who belong in different weight classes than they are in, Crawford isn't a big welterweight. And this game at such a high level is about skill. Everybody that fights on fight night is usually 1 to 3 classes bigger or smaller, depending on which side you're looking at. So if you look at how big Josh Taylor is, for example, on fight night, my bet is he'll be bigger than Crawford. So it becomes about skill at that point. So my question is, you don't think Crawford versus Ramirez would be good? I mean, you wouldn't watch it if it happened? Come on now. I say this because if Gervonta Davis, who talked about fighting at 130 or 135, if Davis fights a step-up opponent as a pay-per-view main event in his next fight, the likelihood is, if it's not a Robert Easter Jr., it'll be a guy from 1 or 2 weight classes below. Like a Santa Cruz, like a Russell Jr., or like even a Carl Frampton. You understand? I mean, I guess Javier Fortuna is lurking, or Julius Ndongo, or even an old man like Johnny Gonzalez. And then you also have Abner Maris, who I think is damaged goods. But the question is, will Davis get equal criticism if they make a bad choice on the opponent, or if it's someone a class or 2 below? If it's a Leo Santa Cruz, I mean, come on. You think he'll get the criticism Crawford will get? So, for Gervonta, I don't think a lot needs to be fine-tuned with this kid. Just maybe a lifestyle change outside of the ring or outside of camp, and then training seriously inside of camp. Once again, look at the perception of the opponent coming into the fight ahead of him. I mean, would you have had your best camp for Yuriorkis Gamboa? With better training and stamina, Gervonta will be the same guy who averaged 68 punches per round in his title fight against Jose Pedraza. We'll see how it goes. What did I like from Gamboa? Well, for Gamboa, it's easy to answer what I liked. Once again, the theme here is you can't keep judging guys by one fight. Not Lomachenko, not Davis, not Lopez, not AJ, nobody. So Saturday, this wasn't the Yuriorkis Gamboa who quit against Robinson Castellanos a couple of years ago. No, sir. Listen, when Gamboa hurt his foot, and if it was a ruptured Achilles, the fight ends there. You can't do anything if you have a ruptured Achilles. And when he got back to his corner, he told his corner he couldn't go. He's like, yo, something's going on with my foot. He knew something wasn't right, but he convinced himself to continue with a little help from Jack Reese and his corner. And look, I saw a picture of Gamboa's foot, and I'm not a doctor. It didn't look right. And I'm not talking about with the tape wrapped around him, his actual foot. I'll see if I can slip it in the next video. But I'm telling you, if he fought one round, let alone almost 10 additional rounds, with an Achilles tear of any sort, what he did on Saturday night was out of this world. It should go down as one of the best boxing stories of perseverance inside the ring this century. You'd have to be beyond human to do that. And the fact that he's likely 40-something years old, you're talking about a professional boxer in a ring trying to fend off a young knockout artist, makes this inconceivable. I mean, extraordinary, like as in extraordinary. That's all I can say. And something's definitely wrong with the foot based on the picture. I just don't know what it is, and maybe we'll find out. But unreal what he did. That's going to get lost in all of this, but you can't question that guy ever again. All right. Badou Jack versus Jean Pascal. And listen, he's saying Jean. It's been Jean all these years, but he's saying it's Jean Pascal. Now, I'm seeing all kind of comments on this one. And, oh boy, speaking of comments. Okay, Terrence Crawford just tweeted me. I sent Terrence Crawford a tweet, and I didn't think he would answer me. He responded. That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. Yeah, so on my next video, I'm doing like a collage of just photos and videos of just from I did a whole bunch of things from Friday, from the weigh-in and what have you. I might add those again to it. If not, it's just some pictures. Shout out to my girl Nikila. Some pictures and little quick 20-second video here, 10-second video there, but I'll just post it, make it one big collage. Probably won't be any longer than 6 or 7 minutes, if that. Anyway, okay, Terrence. Thanks for responding, Doc. I'm seeing all kind of comments on this one. I mean, we figured it would be close. We called for a close Badou Jack win, but also said we wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. Well, we got a close Jean Pascal win. And I'm seeing the word robbery, and I'm like, so for the people who are saying robbery, they must either be money team guys, family members or friends of Jack, or people who lost their bets, had to lose money. Good fight. Just like Golovkin versus Dachenko, you got two older guys who just fought their tails off. You hate to see a loser in fights like that, but the real winners are, well, you know who. Too cliche. I'll say it anyway, as corny as it sounds. But the real winners are the fans. So I'm going to do a little collage of little videos and pictures from the fight card. And you know what? I'm going to see if I put that Terrence Crawford tweet. I'll do that right behind this one. And I won't put Thursday and Friday's pictures and videos up. I'll just do everything from Saturday night. All right. Catch you on the next one.